Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside One Last Monster. Why does Didas, the giant blue monster from the film, look the way he does? And why does he act less like a villain and more like a saint? When I first started designing Didas, I had this question stuck in my head. I was thinking along the same lines as Brad Bird when he made the Iron Giant. He asked, what if a gun had a soul? And I thought, okay, what if a Gundam or a giant monster had a soul? Something human inside. By the way, spoilers ahead, if you haven't seen the short film yet, the link's in the description below, so please check it out. That idea, a giant robot or monster with a soul, became my entry point into creating Didas. Visually, one of my biggest early influences was the Kugai from the anime Gasaraki. It's a kind of obscure anime compared to Evangelion, but the design of the Kugai blew me away. These ancient spiritual mech samurai beings. That is where Didas' face and horns come from. I remember being inspired also by some traditional masks I saw at the Natural History Museum in New York City. The shapes and symmetry felt sacred and mysterious, and I wanted some of that feeling, that sense of ancient spirituality in Didas' design. Originally, he was going to be red, but that completely clashed with Empress Yura's red robes, and since the story was ultimately her journey, I made Didas blue instead. I did want that red demonic look for Didas initially though, because I wanted to mislead the audience, to make you think that he was evil. But blue brought something better, calm, mystery, depth. It just fit him. And if you look at Didas, his design is actually pretty simple. A humanoid figure, a robe, those horns, a flame on his head, that's it. Some of that came from the fact that we were working with an indie animation budget, but in hindsight I think that simplicity was kind of a blessing. It made his silhouette and scale do all the talking. He's about 100 feet tall in my mind. I haven't quite figured it out exactly yet. And it gave me space to focus on who he is as a character instead of how many visual parts he has or what his design is all about. Because underneath the surface, Didas isn't a monster. He's a paradox. He is terrifying at first glance, but once you get to know him, he's patient, articulate, kind, even gentle. He's a being of immense power who carries himself with humility and grace. That's what made him so fun to write. He's a walking contradiction, and that contradiction makes him feel alive. So his horns were inspired by Gasaraki, yes, but they also carry another meaning. They echo a crown of thorns, and that connects to something personal. I am a Christian, and my faith naturally finds a way into my work, not to preach, but to explore what trust, loss, and hope actually feel like. One Last Monster has spiritual undertones, especially in how it portrays Yura struggling to trust a higher power, Didas representing that higher power in this case. That flame that Didas' species carries, that glowing energy inside them, that was inspired by the tongues of fire described in the book of Acts in the Bible during Pentecost. There's something about giving that symbol to a creature that looks like a monster, because in the story it's the monster who understands truth better than the heroes do. So yes, Didas is supposed to be kind of a Christ figure too, in a way, but one that looks like the devil at first glance. That's the irony I love. When I wrote One Last Monster, I was processing my own faith after my mom passed away in 2015. I was angry at God for a long time. I just couldn't understand how something so painful could fit into any divine plan. Didas and Yura's relationship came from that season. It's really a conversation between faith and doubt. In a way, the story of the Empress and the monster is the story of a human struggling to trust a higher power. That was my story. So that's Didas, the monster with a soul, the god who looks like a demon, the paradox that holds One Last Monster together. If you've got questions about Didas' design, backstory, or symbolism, or if there's any other One Last Monster character you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you want to support what I'm doing with the channel and One Last Monster, please consider becoming a member of our Patreon. I'll put the link right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.